Hello, my name is Caitlin. If you're new to the podcast, and today I know I've not been on as much. I unfortunately had some really bad back pain that kept me from going to work for the last 2 days after New Year's, and then it snowed like over a foot, and so I wasn't able to get to work because I live kind of far from work, and the roads were not in good condition. So yeah, it's been probably a week, more than a week now. Um, wow. Um, but yeah, a lot of stuff has happened. Um, Whenever I'm in physical pain, I'm sure I've mentioned this before. Start recording. I don't know what's going on with the recording. It says it's at 0 minutes recording, and I don't want to keep recording if it's not recording. Okay. Podcast. I am just dealing with a lot of physical pain recently, mostly my neck. I woke up like about a week ago and couldn't move my neck. Like it hurt so bad just to turn my head at all. Um it was just constant, but whenever I got up, I would involuntarily make noises that my partner would laugh at. Um and then of course he was like, "I'm sorry." And I'm like, "No, it's fine. It's funny. You can laugh." Um I mean, I would laugh. I'd get up and then get out of that excruciating pain and laugh at myself. So it was fine. Um, Funny noises are funny for a reason. And so, oh man, I knew I was gonna get too warm. Anyways, um, thankfully I'm doing a bit better. I had to go to the doctor and get they gave me some muscle relaxers and pain medicine, NSAIDs. I don't like taking those, but I just made sure to take it with food, and I haven't had stomach issues, like terrible stomach issues, in a long time, so I was like, I'll try it, and if I have any problems, then I'll know for sure. But I haven't been using it. I'm probably gonna have to use it today because it's already getting painful. When I'm at home, I don't really have to do anything. I feel like I can push through better. Um, except for what I'm going to talk about today a little bit, when it kind of rolls over into depression. So, when I am in a lot of physical pain, I get really frustrated with things. Um, and not even things related to necessarily to how I'm feeling at the time. Um, so when my back was hurting, I mean I felt upset about the fact that I couldn't get up and down from sitting to standing without a ton of pain. Or laying down to or just rolling over. Um like everything hurt. And so yeah, of course anytime I had to move, it was upsetting. Um but it also was I tried to work from home, and so Thursday I tried to work from home. I did do some stuff, but I had to take a lot of, like, I took Tylenol 3 times, and I took Kratom twice, and it was still really, really hard for me to, like, I was working at I was working at like a quarter of my normal speed because I was just in so much pain. I left my mug at home. I got here and I was like, oh, damn, I left my mug. But anyways, side note, um, I really like to have my mug. Um, but it's okay. I'm gonna just be fine with not having it today. Working on self-regulating and being okay when things don't go the way I want them to. Like this morning, I swore 2 days ago we had 2 bagels left, and I hadn't seen anyone eat a bagel. I don't know what happened, and I think somebody must have eaten a bagel and I didn't notice. And then I think today my partner took the other bagel, and I'm just like, but that's like the only thing I eat for breakfast when I work, and so I haven't eaten yet. I have a protein bar. I will eat it eventually. I'm just having a really hard time doing it because it's not what I planned or wanted to eat. So, anyways, I'll do that after this. But man, I wish these things didn't bother me. And like that's I think what it kind of just has snowballed this past week where everything started bothering me. Like I started getting super fed up with my job again, which happens all the time. But then I got fed up with the fact that I'm fed up because I'm like, I like the job. As far as I like the people, it's not like, it's not overwhelming in the fact that, like, the work is doable for me. Like, I'm not feeling like I'm not getting things done because I can't do them and then people are getting upset at me. Like, that's not what's happening. But I just feel like I've lost any passion for anything. Like, I don't know. It's like I just kind of felt like, what is the point of this? How long can I keep doing this? Which I know I mention all the time. Um, just like there's gotta be something that I can do that feels better for longer. I don't know. But then I wonder if it's just my brain. Like, is it just that every few months I'm gonna just suck all the dopamine out of a new job and then I feel like quitting all the time? Like, I don't wanna. That's not a pattern that I want to have where I just, you know, can't stick with anything because it just doesn't feel right. Um, I don't know. I am definitely struggling with why am I feeling the way that I am? Is it because I really want to do something different? Or is it because I haven't figured out, is it because my brain is just wired this way and I just need to kind of push through it and then it'll get better? Like, I just don't really know the answers at this point. I will be going to the endocrinologist at some point this evening, I have an appointment to get my labs resubmitted to make sure that the hyperprolactinemia was either a side effect of the medication I was on that I stopped taking, or if it's still there, then I'll need to have that appointment with the endocrinologist to see what's going on with that. But she basically said that could be indicative of low dopamine production, which would make sense why I keep not feeling satisfied in whatever it is that I do. Like, the idea of it sounds better than actually doing it, and then once I do it, I'm like, well, actually, this sucks, because I'm not getting the dopamine out of it that I thought I would. So, I don't know for sure. We'll see. But it's become, it was really overwhelming. And now, right now, because I'm actually at work, I feel a bit different. I think walking into work, I'm like, oh, I don't hate this place. I don't know why I was so upset. Like, of course, I like it when it's empty and there's no one here. And I'm not exhausted from a full day of sitting at the desk, twiddling my thumbs, doing whatever tedious task, and talking to people all day. So yeah, there's definitely like reasons why I feel different right now in the moment, and I think that's what I've been trying to figure out anytime I'm feeling anything is, for one thing, this is a temporary feeling. So constantly reminding myself, no matter how I feel, it's temporary, all feelings are temporary. So trying to not get, like, I know that I'm going to get all caught up in my feelings, but if I can at least logically know that even if it's extremely overwhelming at the time, that it won't last forever, that at least helps. But it's also, I feel like the physical pain, like, just magnifies it. It's like, the physical pain puts me in a state of distress anyways, and so then it can easily be transferred to basically anything that I think about. So, my partner's like, you can quit if you want to quit. You don't, like, if you need to, whatever you need to do it. If you need to quit, quit. If you feel like you need to stick it out, then, stick it out. If you feel like you need to, find a part-time job, then do that. Like, basically, my partner is extremely supportive of whatever it is that I decide, but I'm just getting so overwhelmed with, I don't know what the right answer is. And my partner said something to me that I was just like, I know you're right, but I don't like it. And he said, there's not always a right answer. And that's a really hard thing for me to sit with, because for me, I'm like, well, there's always the best answer. Like, even if it's not like 100%, like, there's always going to be the best solution. And so I have to figure out what that is. And sometimes you just don't have all of the information to make those decisions. And that's why it gets so overwhelming for me, because I don't know. It's like I've got half of an equation. I don't have all of the things, which, oh my god, this happened to me all the time, which is why I love and hated math. Word problems in particular were difficult for me, because sometimes I would be like, I don't have I don't have all the information that I need here. I can't possibly do this problem because I don't have all of the info. Like, how is this all of the info that you're giving me? I don't think this is enough information. And so that's kind of how I'm feeling right now, is like I'm trying to get a solution, like the best solution, but like I'm trying to find the solution, and I don't have all of the, there are too many variables, so there is no right answer, and it's really, really frustrating for me because, of course, my brain goes from, well, if I quit this job, then I don't have the income, and we really need the income so that we can afford to save up to eventually have a house, because I don't, like, I really want to have a greenhouse and a garden and kind of uh just, I don't know, it's probably a fantasy of growing a lot of my own food and cooking and preserving things and like kind of homesteady stuff. But I really enjoy being creative when it comes to food. Um, and so if I'm growing my own stuff, then I've got to figure out what to do with it. And so then, it's like I'm really good at figuring out what to do with food. And so that's also very satisfying for me because it's like, well, I'm using something that needs to be used while also sustaining myself and my family, and it's really rewarding for me. And so I'm like, well, if I had my own garden and was doing that, then, you know, that would that would be great. I would enjoy that. Now, gardening and everything that comes after that, um yeah, gardening is different than, you've got, plants die, and things don't always work out the way that you expect, and so that could be really frustrating for me. Um, but I know that that's like the most economical way of producing food instead of just buying the food and then preserving it. Like, I'd rather grow it myself. And I think that having something that is routine, like watering the plants and like being dedicated to that, I think would help my own mental health too. But I also have a bunch of things with holes in them. Some of them because I tried to cut tags out of them and cut a little too far, because tags are the worst. I don't know if anybody else agrees, but tags are terrible. I hate them. Why can't everything just have a flat tag? Or like the printed on tags? Like, why do we need all these tags? That doesn't make any sense. I don't understand. It's a waste of fabric, and I'm just gonna cut it off anyways, and then I don't have any idea like where I got the thing from. And, yeah, annoying. That and itchy seams, but yeah, clothing in general. But I have a sewing machine and I want to fix things, and I have a couple of things that my partner wants me to fix for them, and I really want to be able to just get the sewing machine out and fix stuff. Excuse me. Yeah. And so, but I'm like, I have so much executive dysfunction when it comes to getting the sewing machine out and actually doing that task. Like, I want to do it so bad. I keep talking about it. But in my mind, like, I need a clean space that is free of people and interruptions in order to do that task. Because, for one thing, I have to have a clean table because it takes up a lot of space. and I just get really overwhelmed by stuff, but also I just need the space because it's going to be a lot of stuff to fix, and clothing takes up space, and you gotta have at least half the table. But I want the whole table to be cleaned off, and I have to do it on the dining room table because I have a folding table that I could use, but the problem is it shakes a lot when the sewing machine's running. So I could grab my farmer's market one, see if that shakes less, and try to do it in my teeny tiny room that is not even fully clean because I have executive dysfunction when it comes to that too. It seems like everything that I really want to do, I have a really hard time actually doing it. And sometimes it's because I'm just in too much pain to even want to do anything. And that's kind of how it's been, is like, I'm in a lot of pain, so I don't want to do anything, but then that makes me upset because I'm not doing anything, and it gets really overwhelming. But I could try to do it in my room. It would be extremely tight, but at least then I would be alone, because I have a really hard time completing a task when people are around. Like, I don't know what it is. I know a lot of autistic people talk about their issues with being perceived. It's definitely a problem for me. I feel like I can't do anything if people are watching. So, yeah. There's, lots of things I want to do, but then I'm like, oh, well, I could turn that into content, and then, maybe I would actually be able to start doing those things. Like, if I had a house, it was, this is like my fantasy dream situation. If I had a house, it doesn't even have to be very big. Just, small house, but it's mine, and I can clean it the way that I want to, and all of that, have things organized and put away out of sight. And then I could have a little sewing room. That would be perfect. Or just like my general, like, multi-purpose kind of situation. But like, I could have a sewing station. And I could then make content of me fixing stuff or sewing things, and I could make content of me gardening and the whole process from, what I decide to do with it, what I make with it, if I preserve it or not, and recipes, and like all of these things that I really, really want to do, that I enjoy doing, but I feel like I can't because I live with 4 people. And I just can't do it because they're there. And it's like, no one's saying I can't do any of these things. Nobody's like getting upset at me for doing anything. It's because I just can't. I just can't do it. And it's really frustrating. Because I feel like if I were alone, it wouldn't be a problem. It's happened before. Family goes on vacation without me. It's the most productive days of my life. When I wasn't working and my family went on vacation without me, I cleaned the entire house. I reorganized. I vacuumed everything. Like, I cleaned the whole house, except for other people's rooms. But, like, downstairs, my room, like, everything was spotless because I could focus. Like, I just can't. Like, I could focus and I didn't have to think about the fact that people were around and could perceive me. But I have no way to be alone. But then I'm like, well, if I quit my job, then I definitely won't be able to be alone because I will never be able to afford to be alone. So it's just really really frustrating. I don't know what the right answer is. If I keep working and save up money, then maybe eventually I could afford to be alone and quit my job. But it's just not at this point, and I think it's just I was getting really frustrated with the fact that I have this thing that I want to do. I have this vision for how I want my life to look, and I can't have it. And I don't know when I will be able to either, because I don't know all of the factors. Like, I don't know. I don't know how like, it's extremely expensive to live around here. I was looking at houses briefly just to kind of be like, are you sure you want to try to live here? Like, my partner gets paid pretty well. And for electrician locals, it's one of the higher paying, not even close to the highest paying, but one of the higher paying places to live in. However, you can't find a house for under $400,000 anywhere. Like, even over an hour away from work. And so it's like, we can't afford that. Like, we could we could afford a $400,000 house. And that's it. And that's the lowest. And I really want some land in order to garden. Like, I don't need a lot. Physically, I don't know how much I can keep up with, and that's something else that worries me. But I want to do it because my partner has said, and I agree, that, like, the more I do it, the more active I am, probably the easier things will get. Like, as long as I'm not hurting myself and setting myself back. If I'm more in a habit of being active, then it will probably help me. Like, I need to strengthen, and so even if I'm just doing little things here and there, I need to do it every day. And so gardening, there's always something to do every day, and, like, things need to be done. And so I think I could easily do that without. I have a really hard time with getting myself to exercise because it feels like a waste of time. Like, I could be doing something else. Like, this is not enjoyable for me. I don't, like, I don't know. As somebody who was raised very intellectual and everything was about school and about being productive and about doing things to better yourself, and also not living with, especially a mother who was not very physically active, there wasn't a whole lot of emphasis on being fit. Um, so it was just like, not something that I ever prioritized. And so it's kind of hard to reprioritize. Plus the fact that I have zero time. I scheduled out, oh crap. I scheduled out something. Hopefully it's fine. I was gonna laminate something. Came over to put my laptop here. I was gonna go laminate it and then come back, and I forgot and left the laminator on and haven't even laminated my list. So I will go and do that in a minute. But I was gonna show you the list. It's basically like 5 things because that's the only thing I have time for. And so start my day off with, brushing my teeth, washing my face and moisturizing, and taking a shower every other day. So that's on my list, every other day. So, yeah, like, really that's all I have time for in the morning. And then I have a half-hour block of cleaning because I really get overwhelmed when my room is not clean, but I tend to not have any time to do that because I get home so late. And so then I get home so late, I want to make dinner. I don't feel like going upstairs and cleaning my room and then going to bed. Like, then there's nothing to enjoy about the day, it feels like. Um, so I was like, well, I'm going to start doing that in the morning. So this morning, I put away a bunch of laundry. And so if I can try to do that every morning, just a half hour, just like pick a couple things, like I'm going to do these things, and eventually, hopefully, I'll be able to get into a rhythm that keeps everything clean all the time, because that is a big stressor for me. Always has been. The worse my room gets, the worse my executive dysfunction gets. They go hand in hand. I can't function in a messy environment. So I did that, but of course I don't have enough time to do all of it, so that was kind of hard, getting myself to be like, okay, it's done now. Like, you're done doing your half an hour thing. But thankfully it was like scheduled, and I feel like that helped a bit, because if I hadn't scheduled it and had like a plan, then it would have been more overwhelming trying to switch to like, it's time to go now. And so then I went downstairs and realized we don't have bagels, and that was really frustrating for me. But it was fine. I'll eat this protein bar in a minute. But yeah, then I go to work and do this. So podcast time is up, so I need to wrap this up. And then I have a half hour where I basically get these things uploaded, and I'm trying to upload them to YouTube as well. Eventually I want to get them on a lot of platforms, but at this point, I'm just focusing on one at a time. But that's also frustrating, because I'd rather just get them all up at once, but I can't, because it takes too much time. I can't do, like, autistic inertia is real, and that is the inability to switch from tasks, start and stop tasks. That is something that I really, really struggle with. So, yeah. Basically, I need to wrap up, and I'm having a hard time because I'm not done yet. Then, basically, after I finish this and finish getting everything uploaded and whatever, that's it. I work for 4 hours, then I take an hour break that I'm going to force myself to take, because I have a hard time doing that too. I have a hard time being like, oh yeah, this is break time, I'm going now. Like, I'm usually just like, oh, blah, 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 whatever, work half my break, then grab lunch, then eat it at the desk, and not ever take a real break. So, not doing that anymore. I have scheduled it out. I have 30 minutes to eat, 30 minutes to walk. Even though it's going to be freezing cold, I'm going to at least try to walk, and if I need to walk around the building, whatever, I need to start exercising a tiny bit, even if it's just walking. So, just gonna do that, because I know it'll be better for my mental health. So I have it scheduled, and I have to do it. And then I work for 4 more hours. Then I drive home for an hour. And then it's making dinner. So I don't even remember what I'm making tonight. It's on the list, on the fridge. I hope we had a plan for today. That's the thing. I try so hard to have all of these plans, but then it's just hard. Like, my brain can't keep up with remembering all of them, which is partially why I have the plan, so then I don't have to take up the brain space constantly repeating them to myself over and over and over in my head. But then it's like, well, what if I don't have a plan? And then I'm start freaking out about, what if I don't have a plan because I don't remember what the plan was. And basically, I think I have a picture of it. I'll go back and look at it. I printed it off so I'm sure I have a copy of it on the internet somewhere on my Canva. Anyways, I gotta go, but as you can see, I'm very overwhelmed. I basically get home. Sorry, I didn't finish my list. Dinner, then putting laundry in and relaxing for whatever amount of time I have left, which is normally a half an hour to an hour. And then brush your teeth, go to bed. That's all I have. And it's just like there's no time to do anything else, and it's really frustrating because there's so many other things I want to do, but I can't get myself to do them. And then on my days off, I have a really hard time getting myself to do those things because people are around, and I end up just lazing around with my partner all day, and I can't figure out why I can't do things. So, yeah. Executive dysfunction and autistic inertia. That is the theme of today. Um, if you struggle with anything like that, let me know. Love to hear from other people. Email and Instagram are in the show notes. And thank you for watching, and always remember that you are enough.